guys, in kindergarten, Miss Costello here. So if you watch the SciShow Kids, you know what plants need to survive. And I put them up here on my whiteboard. I have plants need water, sun, and soil. And so I thought it would be fun if we did our very own little experiment, just growing something. And if you have any pots, I have a lot of these laying around. If you have a pot or a jar that Mom says is okay to use, and some soil, and then we need a few seeds. So I'm going to use, I have these really cool sunflower seeds that I've been waiting to try out, and so those would be beautiful. So what you do is you're going to put some soil in your pot. Go ahead and make it a good amount so that there'll be lots of root room for your seed to grow. And I know that sunflowers are really big plants, so I want to give them some room. And once I have a good amount, I'm going to make some holes. I think I'll plant 3 seeds. So I'm going to make, with my finger, 3 holes. And then I'm going to drop in a seed in each one. And then I'm gently going to pat the soil over the top. And then I'm going to add some water. Pretty easy. It's just tap water. And if any of the little seeds come up, just be sure that they end up getting covered up. And then, so I've got soil, I've got water, and I'm going to put this in a sunny spot. So I'm going to take care of that later on today, but right now I'm outside, so I'm going to leave it out here so I can watch it. Now, I thought it would be fun also to do another little project with plants today. They're called a terrarium. And I'm going to move my little demo board out of the way. And the things you need for this, you need some soil again. I have a big pickle jar I'm going to use. If you have any kind of jar that Mom says is okay to use, you can use that. And it needs a lid because we're going to make a terrarium which is a little tiny world. And you need some rocks or pebbles. I have some. The only tricky thing in here is called activated charcoal. And activated charcoal is something that you can get at Lowe's. Sometimes you can even get them at the aquarium or Petco shops where they have aquariums. And that's going to help the water stay clean in our terrarium. And then I have some little plants that I picked up at the store that I was going to use for other projects, but I'm going to use some of the smaller ones for my terrarium. And I also took some bark off some trees. I have some bark from the area. I have some pretty rocks from the beach that I've saved. And if you have any little action figures or little figurines, that would make it nice too. I even have this little fake butterfly that's made out of feathers that I'm going to use, maybe. So if you're going to make a terrarium, what you do is you take your jar and you need to put some pebbles in the bottom first. So that's going to help the water drain nicely. That's probably enough. And then after you kind of get those nice and even, then you're going to add a little layer of the charcoal. And I might need to use my hand for that. I'm going to spread that around. This stuff is really important because it keeps your water cycle that's going to happen in the terrarium nice and clean. So I put my little charcoal in there, just a nice thin layer. And that's good. And then I'm going to put some soil. And I probably want to put about halfway. I have this handy dandy little spade, and I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to decide, okay, cover up all of my pebbles and my charcoal. A little bit more, I think. This is a nice big jar. This'll be nice. All right, that looks pretty good. You can turn your jar around and see if it looks pretty even. All right, so then I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to use some of my I have some little ivy. I'm going to put some ivy in there. And then I have little tiny fern that Grandma Dolly gave me. I'm going to put that in there. And I have this little miniature plant that I think is really lovely. I'm going to try that one too. A little bit. Now after I get them where I want them to be, kind of spread out, I'm going to take my spade or my hand and I'm going to add some more soil in there. And be sure it's tucked in. I think I'm going to use my hand. That might be easier. Alrighty. So I cover my roots. Remember in the last lesson we learned how important those roots are for our plant to get all the nutrients it needs. So that looks like it's covered pretty well. And then I think I'm going to start doing the fun part. I'm going to decorate a little bit. I'm going to add some stones. That can also help a little bit with your holding everything down because we're going to add water in here too. And maybe I'll try the birdie. Do I like the birdie? Looks like he's in there ready to make a little nest. I like that birdie. Well, maybe I'll go ahead and try Nala. She's fun. That'd be fun. Put her in there. I can get her in there nicely. And maybe I'll use a little rock to keep her from falling over. All right. And then once you have it the way you like it and you're pretty content with the way it looks, you're going to get some water, nice clean water, and you're going to dribble it gently. Don't put too much in. You want to put enough to dampen the soil and get everything damp but not too soaked. So use restraint. So I've added my water, and then the last thing is to put the lid on nice and tight, and then you're going to find a place in your home like a windowsill that gets partial sun, and you put it in the sun and a cool thing happens. The sun, which is one of the things that our plants need, the sun will not only help the plants inside make energy, but it'll also make a little water cycle in here. So what will happen, the sun is going to heat this jar up and the water inside of here will evaporate. It will turn into water vapor. You won't even be able to see it. But then as more and more water vapor joins together, it condenses those molecules of water. They connect to each other. That's called condensation. And when you get enough of it, then you get precipitation, which is rain. So you might see water dribbling down the side. And basically that's the water cycle. We've added the water. We're gonna have the sun that'll help heat the water and make it into vapor so it evaporates. And then if it cools and it joins together, it condenses. And then if enough of it condenses, it becomes very heavy and it will have precipitation and it'll rain down. So you'll have a little world inside your terrarium. I hope you have fun with this. Ask Mom if she has an old jar or maybe a little plant from the garden that you can use and some soil. Now if you don't have the activated charcoal, that's okay. It's not necessary, but it does help the water stay nice and clean. I've heard that terrariums can last a very long time, and I've had them last a year or so, and usually I have to change out the plants. But try it out. I think you'll have fun, and you'll learn a few things about plants. Just remember these three though. You need water, sun, and soil for plants to grow. Bye!